Great Tesla stock news today. We have some very promising new data from China, and this appears to be a picture of a refreshed Model 3. This seems to be a leak. First, let's start with China. Insurance numbers came in at almost 7,000 for the last week, which I saw some Tesla bears, and this is how you know they are absolutely ridiculous. They said, oh, this is a terrible number because the week before, we had about 15,000, and they ignore that Tesla still does the wave, the delivery wave at the end of each quarter, which of course we are flattening, as you can see right here. But they look at this number of about 7,000 deliveries based on insurance data, and they say it is terrible, even though this is basically a record for Tesla when looking at the first week. If you look at the chart really closely, based on the last quarter, if you were here, it would be a double, and right here, about a triple compared to the last quarter. Let's see what the next week looks like, but the beginning is very promising. James says, one of two things needs to happen. Number one, China domestic sales need to increase considerably, or number two, Giga Shanghai production needs to be reduced considerably because Giga Berlin is ramping a lot, and where do you export these cars? Most of these cars used to go to Europe, but now, where would they go? But week one deliveries in China was a good sign supportive of number one. Of course, there are other things that Tesla could do, for example, further lower prices in Australia, Japan, and New Zealand, but these markets are not as big, so that's a little bit more difficult. And how are the market's responding to this good news? Well, Tesla stock is up today, almost 3%. We still have a few minutes before the market closes, but it looks good. Although the markets are also up in general, but I think overall, Tesla is also outperforming the market, which is great. One thing that you almost never see is NASDAQ 100, the biggest 100 companies in the US basically, outperforming the NASDAQ 100 technology sector. That I almost never see. And yet Tesla, which is more of a technology company, I would argue, and it does perform closer to this than this, clearly a great day for Tesla stock. And if we look at companies that make EVs, yeah, Tesla is clearly outperforming everyone today. Now let's talk about this leaked picture, or supposedly leaked picture. This picture first appeared on Reddit, which is not exactly a great source of information. So is this real? Is this not real? We don't really know. I think there's a good chance this is actually a real picture. And if it is, one thing is extremely clear: someone is losing their job over this. Zooming into the vehicle, there's one surprising finding. If you look right here, some say that they think this is curved and that this could indicate potentially an instrument cluster that Tesla could be adding. I'm personally, I don't know if this is definitely curved or not. Clearly that is a display right here, but this obviously is a steering wheel, so it would appear that whatever panel is here, it's a little bit curved, but that would seem sort of really counter to what Tesla is all about, so I'm not really sure about this one. It does appear to be a little bit curved if I zoom out to me though. And what do you think about the lights? I personally definitely love the new look. The old Model 3, the first time I saw it, I'm like, I was not a fan of it. I don't mind it now, but I'm still not a big fan of the front. I like the back though, but the front here, yeah, I love that. It looks like a roadster. It actually looks pretty fast. Right now, when I see a Model 3, it doesn't look fast. But this new one, yeah, this looks like a pretty fast car to me. James thinks it's a huge upgrade, and yeah, I certainly like the new design. And someone made a render of what the vehicle could look like. And the render, I think the render does not, I think something is off about this render. I think the picture looked better than this, or something off about the angle maybe. I'm not really sure. It just doesn't feel quite the same. Tesla is also preparing to open a new showroom in Tennessee. More showrooms, more service centers means better experience for the customer. We will soon learn about Tesla's earnings for the last quarter. And if you are looking for the people to watch, well, Troy is probably the number one if we are speaking of retail analysts. Gary Black got into a little bit of a small fight, maybe you could say. You are shilling a single product company that performed well in 2020 because of easy monetary policy. That certainly helped, but that was not the main reason. And fiscal stimulus. I suspect you know that. Gary Black explains, sorry, I don't shill. And Gary goes on the offensive here, just trying to point out how Tesla stock short sellers got it so wrong in 2020. Tesla short sellers missed the huge TAM expansion of a Model Y, and now say it was all about the easy money and the stimulus and everything that drove Tesla stock up 743% versus NASDAQ up 49% only in 2020. Are you on drugs, says Gary Black. Gary Black points out that when Tesla launches the Cybertruck, that will again expand the total addressable market that Tesla can sell to. And the same will happen when Tesla enters the market under $30,000, which is similar to what happened when Tesla added the Model Y, which tripled the total addressable market. Of course, there's some correlation with the interest rates and Tesla stock. If you look at the chart, yes, when interest rates go up, generally, that's not great news for Tesla stock. When interest rates go down, often that is great news for Tesla stock, but this chart is also somewhat misleading because a lot of important things happen for Tesla around this time, such as, for example, the Model Y launch, which did great, more deliveries, more profits, actually, huge profits for the first time. And they don't explain, so interest rates are going up still, but yeah, Tesla stock basically doubled right here. So we, Tesla stock short sellers, are not going to address that. And check this out. Audi will stop selling plug-in hybrids after a massive sales drop in the Chinese market and focus on sales of internal combustion vehicles and battery electric vehicles in the world's most important growth market, China, the company confirmed. Audi said, we leave the market for plug-in hybrids to domestic manufacturers. We will not offer any more plug-in hybrid models in China. This was preceded by a sharp drop in sales for the partially electric models. Sales of Audi's plug-in models have halved since 2020, according to the data from Analysis Institute. So, are you saying the lower sales are not due to chip shortages? No. Steven also has a similar view and says automakers are hiding behind supply chain shocks from 2020. Don't worry, volumes are down because it was hard to find chips, not because consumers don't want to buy ICE anymore. Please don't sell out our stock yet. And if you watched the BBC interview with Elon, I do agree with Steven. This was one of my favorite parts. At first, I didn't realize this because I was just listening to it and I was not reading the comments. And when I looked at some of the comments, then Elon Musk tried to find some questions from Twitter Spaces. And he was just looking at his phone and just laughing the entire time. And that was because all he saw was the entire internet laughing at and trolling the BBC reporter. We also have some good or interesting Twitter news. Twitter partners with eToro to let users trade stocks crypto as Elon pushes the app into the finance industry, which was a plan that Elon had from a long time ago. This is what he wanted PayPal to do. And a bit of good news here. Tesla may advertise vehicle CO2 emission savings in Germany court rules. Previously, it was questioned whether Tesla could still actually do that. And this is an important message to all Tesla stock investors. My name is Matt Posius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.